And then we're co-hosting with Redderly, which is an open source company that's dedicated to supporting the WeBWorK project and has been collaborating with the WeBWorK project on multiple, on multiple foci, I guess we'll use the word. So they worked on a standalone renderer with the WeBWorK project, and they're collaborating to improve the open problem library, problem authoring, and so on and so forth. So we're so glad to have Redderly co-host this conference with us. And so after, we give Danny a chance to talk, then we'll let you hear from Jake. Oh, and I see that Monica Van Dyren is also calling in. Monica is our marketing director, and she's on the business plan committee for the WeBWorK project. We also have other executive board members. We have the current president, as I mentioned, is Robin Cruz. And we have the past president was John Travis, and John remains on the executive board. We also have Tim Flowers, who is kind of our guru, who keeps the show rolling. He manages our emails, he does all of our meeting notes, and he keeps everything moving forward. Mike is the current treasurer, but all of these roles kind of get swapped around. They're all rotating positions, so people come in and out of all of these roles. And so we came to be here today because when I became community manager in January, Mike encouraged me to reach out to the WeBWorK users that are in the community. And so Andrew Parker and I, my internet, apologies. Let me try turning off my video. So Andrew Parker and I at City Tech, we had been working with WeBWorK for many, many years. And so Andrew and I started setting meetings with different WeBWorK using institutions. So we were able to talk to friends in California, Shirley Yap at CSU, Monterey Bay. We've talked to the Southern New Hampshire University, Megan Sawyer, that's on the call. She'll be on our first panel, and Sue McKenzie and Adam Gilbert and others. We had lovely conversations with them and got feedback from them on assessment, not necessarily just WeBWorK focused. We spoke with Gavin LaRose at University of Michigan, which is a huge WeBWorK using institution. We spoke to so many people within the CUNY system and outside of the CUNY system that we were inspired to open this up to a larger discussion. We felt that we got so much out of sharing that we thought that a larger discussion was warranted. Also coming to mind, we spoke with the Colorado Community College System. We spoke with them at length, Brenda Forland and James Morsky and Brittany Lorton, and the whole gang at the Colorado Community College System. They're doing great things with WeBWorK. So, now is a wonderful time for us to come together, take stock. We're approaching the 25th anniversary, and really to think about what assessment looked like pre and post pandemic, and make a plan for moving forward. What improvements do we want to see, and what projects should we concentrate our energies on moving forward? We're all here because we're all big OER proponents. We're really passionate about not just, the OER in terms of open textbooks, but the open software, which is sometimes a really neglected component. And so that's why we're all on the call, to improve the education for our students, improve access, make the obstacles smaller for them to achieve their success. So with that being said, I'm going to pass this over. I would love for the executive members of the board to say hello and welcome you. And then I would love for Jake Medina of Redderly to also say a few words. So why don't we pass this to Danny and then Monica.
Okay, thanks, Marianna. Again, mostly just echoing what Marianna says. It's great to see so many people here. WeBWorK being an open source project, an OER type resource, the thing that keeps it going is the community. So the more people we get involved that are willing to contribute, that are willing to give us feedback and to help out, that's what's going to make this successful in the long run. So the more people we can get engaged, the more people we can get interested, the better this project can be, and we can make sure it does what it needs to do for all these institutions. because we all come from our own individual backgrounds, and we want to hear from each other what everyone else is doing, the things that we don't realize we could be doing, or the things we could be doing better. So that's, I think, the great opportunity that we have in the next couple of days. So I'll pass it to Monica.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't have much more to add to that other than we encourage involvement from everybody from, you know, newbies all the way up to those that are coding their own problems and running their own servers. I'm on the lower end of that scale and have found this to be rewarding, and I'm learning from everybody else by being involved, even when I started out with very little knowledge of WeBWorK.
Perfect. I can quickly introduce myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Jake Medina. I'm the CEO of Redderly. First off, thank you all for coming. We're super excited for the next couple of days to learn from you all, kind of have great discussions around this. You know, as Marianna, Danny, and Monica mentioned, this is a great community. So, you know, everyone coming together always sparks all these amazing ideas. So we're super excited about that. A little bit about us, since you may not know us, we're Redderly. We're an open source WeBWorK compatible online homework and exam provider. We work super closely with the open source community. As Marianna mentioned earlier, we've had a few collaboration efforts with both the WeBWorK projects and LibreText. The most recent one was a standalone render collaboration. I see some familiar faces from that discussion. We're working now on problem authoring and content aggregation, which will come up a little bit later in the future directions discussion. And from our angle, we're always looking for ways to participate in, give back to, and learn from the OER community. So we're super excited to do just that on this call. You know, obviously, you know, things are more and more reliant on all of these online systems. So super excited to hear what everyone is doing, the lessons learned, and figure out a pathway forward. And thanks for being a part of this.
Thanks, Jake. And a few more things to mention before I forget. So if you haven't registered, please do so. You may have gotten this link from a friend, from a colleague. Please register if you haven't. And also, there's an optional registration fee. So we do encourage you, if you have the means, especially if your department may support it, to pay the registration fee, because those funds go to the WeBWorK project. And the WeBWorK project uses those funds to host things like code camps. Many of you, I'm sure, have already participated in these code camps. Danny, maybe can you speak a little bit about what happens at the code camps?
Sure. Yeah, so this is something that historically WeBWorK mostly has been funded through grants at various institutions. People have contributed. And one of the big things is these code camps, where there's sort of two goals in a code camp. One is some sort of technical goal of getting something accomplished around the software, but the other one is building community, is getting people that are involved and enthusiastic about WeBWorK in the same place and getting them all working together and building connections between institutions and things like that. So, I mean, historically, there's been a group working on curating the OPL, the Open Problem Library. So making sure that when new problems are submitted, they go in the right category and that they're of a certain level of quality, that they are sort of course or textbook agnostic, in that they don't say, you know, page 25 of this textbook. So that's one of the major activities that's been a lot of code camps. The other one is every once in a while there's been a focused one on developing a certain feature, whether it's the next release, or we haven't had one of these in a couple of years, so I'm sort of low on examples off the top of my head. But that's the idea, is sort of getting people together and focusing them for a short period of time to get stuff accomplished, rather than just coordinating over email or, you know, meeting on Zoom once every few months. It's a great way to get things accomplished in a short period of time.
Thank you, Danny. So yes, so the registration fee will go to the WeBWorK projects, which will sponsor events such as this. There's been a lot of talk lately in the forum and through email about coordinating a group to push forward the next version, 2.16, 2.17, and, you know, incorporating certain features that the community would like to see into these new versions. And so, you know, having these kinds of code camps where it's focused days or hours to work together with a certain goal in mind is really important to have support for that. And as Danny mentioned, you know, the NSF traditionally funded the WeBWorK project for many, many years, for decades. But, you know, at this point, the NSF is looking for a sustainable model. They want to see that the WeBWorK project can move forward on its own and push its way forward and not constantly be getting kind of a flow of money from the NSF. So that's kind of where we are today in terms of funding. So let's talk a little bit about what you can expect from this conference. So today I have the program here in front of me. We're going to start off with a panel on lessons learned from the spring. And I'm so happy, the 4 panelists we were able to have conversations with. Alex Jordan is kind of another WeBWorK superstar. He's over at Portland Community College. He'll be joining the panel. We have Shirley Yap. I see Shirley here. Welcome, Shirley. She's at CSU, so Cal State, East Bay. And then we have Ramon Rasak, who is at Bronx Community College. He's actually one of our CUNY OER WeBWorK fellows who has been working with Bianca and Suman and many more CUNYites on curating WeBWorK sets and aligning them with open textbooks. And we also have Megan Sawyer from Southern New Hampshire University. Panelists will be talking about the lessons that they took away from the spring. You know, as you know, the spring, let me shut my video again, sorry for the internet. The spring was a tumultuous time. And so there were a lot of takeaways from that. It's a nice moment to think about what happened pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. And Jake is posting the schedule here. Thank you, Jake, wonderful. And so we're gonna have that in the panel. And then we'll have a short break. And afterwards, we'll be hearing, so this is kind of a much anticipated session, basic problem authoring from Andrew Parker. And he has tons of experience. He's been coding in WeBWorK for more than 7 years at CUNY. He and I and some other people on the call worked on the Title V Opening Gateways grant, collaborative with BMCC, and he did a ton of coding of our gateway courses, so algebra and trig through Calc 1 and Calc 2. So he has a lot of experience, and so we at CUNY have kind of been pestering him to give a problem authoring seminar for so long. So we're so thrilled that he's doing this for us today. He's taking time out of his sabbatical, might I add, to be here with us. And then he's also going to talk about specifically writing solver-resistant problems. So he has tons of experience trying to craft problems in WeBWorK that are resistant to math solvers, like Symbol Labs and Wolfram Alpha and these kinds of, you know, snap a pick and get an automated solver to give you the answer. So he's going to talk about tricks and techniques for, you know, avoiding issues with the math solvers. And then we're going to have Kate Poirier, who's on the line. She is at City Tech, and so she, bless soul, was the chair of the final exam committee at City Tech. And so within 6 weeks, she rallied the troops to convert all of our PDF final exams to WeBWorK final exams for our courses, algebra and trig through Calc 2 and even stats. So she got us all organized, rallied, we wrote the exams and we administered them successfully without any crashing, which, you know, was a major accomplishment. So we're thrilled that Kate is going to share insights from that. Stress testing and contingency, we can't stress this enough, but Bianca, she can speak to the need for stress testing and contingency planning. Bianca is at QCC, Queensborough, and she's going to be speaking with Jake Medina of Retterly, and their engineers have tons of experience, and they're going to give a lot of helpful ways that you can get out ahead of it and work with the server that you have and make sure that you have a smooth final exam experience. And then we will break for the day, and then tomorrow we'll have another full day of really helpful presentations. So, you know, with that being said, I think that even though we're 5 minutes early, we may want to start chatting with our panelists. Maybe the panelists can take the first 5 minutes to kind of introduce yourself and give us some background on your experience with the assessment. So why don't we start with Megan?